The next thing that I do is meditate. Why? Because it optimizes your cognition. You want to make sure that you're getting all of your background radiation, the stress, the anxiety. You want to get that as close to zero as you can. That way, you can think clearly. You get into what I call a calm and creative state, so that areas of your brain that don't often communicate are able to communicate, get better ideas that way. Again, lead domino, improving your cognition, lowering your stress levels, making sure that you're centered and that you've got that energy to move forward. Then I'm going to go down my list of important things. I make that list the day before, so I know exactly what I should be doing at any one time. And again, it's a lead domino strategy. The first thing that I'm going to do is going to be the thing that makes everything else on my list easier. I'm going to do everything that I can do on the most important thing. And by the way, they should always be rank ordered. There is no such thing as a tie. There is a number one, a number two, a number three, a number four, so on and so forth. There is not two number ones. There's not two number twos. There is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. I do everything that I can do on number one. Once that's now where I'm waiting for something else, or I just have to let it bake, whatever, then I'm going to move on to number two. I'm going to do everything I can on number two. Then I'm going to move on to number three. If you set your day up like that, and you're not checking your phone, and you're not responding to other people, because that's letting them control your schedule, and what are the odds that somebody other than you knows better what you should be doing to make your goals come true than you? The answer should be zero, because if somebody else knows better than you, we already have a problem. It means that somebody else is paying more attention to your own life than you are. That would be problematic. Get that morning routine down, get that momentum going, do the lead domino strategy, make sure you're optimizing for energy and cognition. Absolutely critical.
Why is a day only 24 hours? I mean, if the average people in the world, or the majority of people in the world, have a 24-hour day, why does that have to apply to you? Many years ago, I discovered, have you ever had a day where in 4 or 5 hours, you got more in the first 4 or 5 hours done or accomplished in your day than you had in a normal day? You ever have a 4 or 5 hour window, a 6 hour window, like that? You go, I've got so much done in these 6 hours, it's more than I get done in an average day. And what I found out was, max out elite performers, people that perform at the highest level, they get more done in a 6 hour window than most people get done in a day. And here's why. Most people measure a day by 24 hours. So I started to think, I was young in business. I was in my early 20s. And one of the things that was held against me by other people is you're too young to win. You don't have enough experience. You just haven't have enough days of experience of your life, enough days in business to win. I thought, well, how can I fix that? And here's how you can fix that. And I've adopted this now for almost 30 years. I want the average people I compete against to think they have a 24-hour day. My days are 6 days long. So I want to teach you the concept of running mini days. My first day is from 6 a.m. to noon every day. That's a full day for me. So I try to get done a full day's work from 6 a.m. to noon, because I no longer have a 24-hour day in my life. I have a 6-hour day. And so a day to me is that measure of time. It altered the complete direction of my life. It transformed who I am. So now from 6 a.m. to noon is a day. That's my first day. Every single week, 6 a.m. to noon, Monday morning. And what happens in that 6 a.m. to noon, there's a mental thing we have. I have a whole day to get all these things done. And so we stack and dictate and schedule our day over that 24-hour window of time. You'd be surprised if you shrunk the day to 6 hours, you can get the same things done in those 6 hours you used to get done in 24. From noon to 6 p.m. is my second day. And in that second day, I fill it up with a full day's worth of fun, memories, meetings, phone calls, you name it, meetings with my relationships in my life. In that 6-hour day, I pack out another day. From noon to 6 p.m., I fill that day up. And my third day is 6 p.m. to midnight. And in that 6 p.m. to midnight, same thing. My relationships, my meetings, my phone calls, my emails, the work I do is a third day. And so what happened was, when I was in my early 20s, I went from having 3 days in the same window of time when the average person had 1. And I started to accomplish triple what the average person was accomplishing. Now, once again, you stack up 3 days in 24 hours over a week, a month, a year. In just 1 year, I end up with over 1,000 days, and I'm competing against people who only have 365. Think about the mind-blowing difference could be in your life if you ran mini days the rest of your life. I'm telling you right now that my days are 6 hours long. The amount of work you can get done, the amount of compounding that'll take place in your life, it's going to blow your mind. When you start looking at your schedule, day 1 is 6 a.m. to noon. Day 2 is noon to 6 p.m. Day 3 is 6 p.m. to midnight. Your whole existence is going to change. It'll be kind of fun in the beginning. You'll mess it up, but you stack up a week or two and you do that for a month. Imagine that in 1 month getting 90 days. Think about what would happen in your life if in a month you had 90 days and the rest of the world, the average in your life, imagine that for a second, the rest of the world only had 30. And you stack that up over a year or 3 years, how different would your life be? And I'm telling you, I'm an example of how different your life would be. I'm an example of what that productivity and compounding in your life can look like. More fun, more memories, more meetings, more encounters, more relationships, more experiences, more money, more achievement, more joy, more bliss. I'm creating opportunities constantly. So what I do is I shrink the finish line. So there's sprints all the time. And so because I only have a 6-hour day, I'm in a hurry throughout that day. I'm not jogging, I'm not walking, I'm in a big hurry. And you're gonna be amazed at the transformation of your life. I may never give you a bigger gift than the concept of 6-hour days. I think I'm one of the only people you'll ever hear explain this to you. But I can tell you, I started to study these successful mentors. My gosh, they get so much done before 9 o'clock in the morning. My gosh, by 1 o'clock, they've accomplished so much. And the average person is just stretching, getting out of bed, done their first appointment or two. Especially you entrepreneurs out there, how critical this is. Because when you're an employee, at least as an employee, to some extent, they control your time. They dictate, you need to be here at 9 a.m., you can't leave until 5 p.m. And so although that's a nuisance, it helps you be more productive because they're paying you, they tell you when to be there. But what happens for most entrepreneurs, they don't realize when you become an entrepreneur, you've taken on 3 jobs, 4 jobs. It requires more time, but people start to relax. My time's mine, my time's free. I love the freedom of being an entrepreneur. There's the greatest fallacy in the world is that you are free as an entrepreneur. And as a matter of fact, you have more responsibility, more obligations, more accountability when you're an entrepreneur because there's no guaranteed money coming in. The biggest mistake, the biggest misnomer, the worst thinking you could have as an entrepreneur is that somehow you're free because you don't have a job. Just because you call yourself an entrepreneur, if you are one, doesn't make you free. In fact, it makes you less free. And so what will make you free is really being free, really getting financially independent, really having enough money that you would never need to work again, really having enough money that if you didn't want to take a meeting, you didn't have to. So stop deluding yourself into this false sense of freedom because you call yourself an entrepreneur. It's hilarious, and it's why you're losing. You have this fallacy, this relaxed state of freedom where you're going to get around to doing things and you get to go to the gym anytime you want to, and you're wearing your sweats at 10:30 in the morning, right? You wouldn't do that if you work for someone else. You don't do that when you work for you. And so the greatest thing I can give you is the gift of many days.
There's a morning routine that I have that I think is, I'm just gonna use mine as an example, and you can modify yours any way you want, and you probably got one better than me if you're doing it. But here's what I know. I want you to think of a morning routine differently. Think of it as, if I do my morning routine right, I set my day up for confidence. And when you have confidence, think of this. This is at least the stuff I think. You play offense all day rather than playing defense. Have you ever had a day or many days where you wake up and you're just waiting for the wrong emails, waiting for the phone call, waiting to talk to your spouse, waiting to talk to the guys you work with or girls you work with, waiting to talk to the boss, waiting to talk to your employers? Like you're kind of just putting out fires, like you're standing waiting for the crap to go wrong, compared to the days where you're like, this is my day, I got this. Yeah, we do this, let's do this, right? One is offense, one is defense. One is 100% confidence, one's like 97% confidence. So how do you create hacks and little things in your life that aren't, like I like to do stuff that's little shifts. If I came in here and said, meditate for 1 hour, work out for 2 hours, then go practice gratitude, and then envision where you'll be. It's like, all right, that's 11 o'clock, I'm at work by 8. Be real. So I wanna give you real stuff. So if you think about setting your confidence up, and you think about playing a day with offense, then I wanna set that up in the morning. So for me, here's what I'd suggest. Defense. So here's a suggestion. I got this from Ariana Huffington. Put your phone on airplane mode before you go to bed. And do not check it as soon as you wake up. Maybe 20% of the time there's something good. The person you love says, I love you, you're amazing, have a perfect day. You hope that's what comes through, but usually it's like the deal fell flat, we're screwed. No, I'm kidding. So put your phone on airplane mode. Then what I do, because I have like a 9-minute routine and I also have a half-hour routine. My 9-minute routine, as soon as I open my eyes, is I try to think of, and we all know this, I'm gonna say something that you never heard before, try to be grateful. But here's what I've done. I've lowered the bar of gratitude. Everybody in this room has accomplished so much that sometimes we set the bar so high with gratitude we don't realize it. Like we're searching for gratitude. Like, how did something spectacular happen? How did the stars part or the clouds part? And I saw, no, like wake up and realize 150,000 people die every day.